Number 5. Todd becoming more of a dick in his later videos. This may be just me, but for a while until recently, Todd started acting too snobby for his own good.
To understand my objection to this kind of music, you need to understand a major part of my musical philosophy, which is that I have almost no use whatsoever for mellow music. It's just not what I think music is for. Music comes from passion. Music comes from big emotions. Not necessarily loud emotions, but big ones. And mellowness is the opposite of this. Mild contentment is not worth writing music about as far as I'm concerned. It's just entirely uninteresting to me. And I don't really understand how people can consider dopey-eyed dullness like this as an acceptable form of music. Satisfaction and contentment is just not what I listen to music for. Especially not country music. As far as I'm concerned, country music should be about one thing. Misery.
With all due respect, Todd, completely writing off half of the music that's ever been written, which includes both good and bad music, makes you sound like an elitist. The truth is, music, like all art, is a form of emotional expression. All emotions. You can still be passionate about being happy. And frankly, if the only music you listen to is depressing, then it's no wonder you're so angry all the time. Oh, and by the way...
I'm sorry, I forget what a nerdy site this is sometimes. Just me review comic books.
You don't get to talk about how bad someone else's tastes are when you put this on a best songs list. Although in Todd's defense on that last clip, I don't know who wrote Todd's cameos for Linkara's review. For all I know, Lewis could have written it as self-deprecation, but it still wasn't funny, and it just seemed really forced. However, I will say this. In his more recent videos, Todd's dropped the elitist attitude, and he's pretty much returned to the likable reviewer he was when I started watching and enjoying his work on YouTube. But still, it's no fun to watch a reviewer who's completely unlikable, so you might want to watch that in the future, Todd. Number 4. Bennett the Sage's diatribe against rape. I'm going to say something right here and now. Rape is terrible. It's terrible when it's used as a story device. It's terrible when it's thrown in as a shock moment. And despite what Seth MacFarlane may tell you, rape is never funny. And sometimes when a character gives a speech on how bad rape is, it makes sense. Like when Linkara did it. But when a character who's portrayed himself to be one of the most loathsome, disgusting human beings in existence tries to talk about it, then we have a problem.
I know who I am when I'm saying this. But rape is possibly the worst thing one person can do to another. Such an act, if included in any kind of narrative, will bring it to a grinding halt. You have to respect your audience and address the issue directly. You do not diminish this violent act by making it the side story.
If you know about the character's persona, then you shouldn't have done this in character. This is the same guy who's so disgusting he's scared Ask That Guy. Bennett, if you were trying to do this because of your personal belief that rape is a horrible story device, I respect that. But at the same time, I think you should either leave a discussion like that to a more respectable reviewer or yourself out of character. Number 3. I'm not too proud to admit that I'm a Spider-Man fan. Sure, there are many other classic superheroes like Batman and Superman, but Spidey just seems to be the biggest influence on my reviewing persona, and personally, I think it's just fun to watch him work. The snappy one-liners, the cool villains, and the interesting fight scenes that take place between them, all of them are just amazing. There's room to like or dislike everything, though. But I'm not ashamed to admit that I am still a fan of Spider-Man 3, despite the fact that so many people hate it. However, there is one thing that almost no Spider-Man fan liked. Of course, I'm talking about One More Day. One More Day is a mess, and a terrible excuse to justify a pointless character change by a hack editor. However, I think this was crossing the line.
Hey guys, look. I just got this off of eBay. $100 mint. It's like I'm making money.
Get him. Let's just pray they never find the body. Yeah.
Now, the Last Angry Geek is a guy I know next to nothing about. But as a huge Linkara fan, I can't help but call bullshit on this. Linkara is an all-around good guy. He would never kill someone over a difference of opinion. Hell, he said several times on Atop the Fourth Wall that superheroes shouldn't kill people, and I agree with him. But for all I know, the Last Angry Geek wrote this segment, and Linkara just went along with it. I just think it was extremely out of character for him. I would say that that was the worst from Linkara we'll see on this list, but that's the next number. Number 2. Pop quiz. If you had a friend who'd possibly been mortally wounded suddenly collapse on your doorstep, what would you do? You probably answered call 911 or get out the first aid kit. And chances are the answer was not to answer the freaking phone! I'm sorry, but this scene just floored me with its stupidity. I just kept coming back to it afterwards, wondering if it was real. And sadly, it was. Linkara, there are much better ways to get your character away from the ninja-style dancer so he can be absorbed by the entity. How about you go to get the first aid kit, but when you come back, he's already gone? That would have been much better. But this way just seemed like lazy writing. Something I'd never seen before or since from Linkara. Come on, Lewis. You were the guy who inspired me to start doing reviews. I expect quality work from you, and for the most part I've gotten it, but this just... wow. And the number 1 worst That Guy with the Glasses misfire is Apollo Z Hack canceling the review of our saga. This was just like having the rug pulled out from under me when I first heard it. Apollo Z Hack's review of our saga proved that a good review can be made even though there's a lot of focus on the subplot, and what an intriguing plot it is. But you know how some movies or TV shows ended on a cliffhanger because it was canceled prematurely? Yeah, that's what would have happened if this show had been canceled.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I quit.
Nothing stands in our way. The second apocalypse can now begin.
I mean, seriously, do you really want that to be the last image we're left with in this series? No. And in fact, I don't think it will be. Because let's be honest, this guy doesn't want to give this series up. He loves what he does, and it's clear to me that he doesn't want to disappoint his fans. And word on the street is, I may just be right. I'll leave it at that for now. But still, canceling the show after it got picked up by Channel Awesome was just a dick move, and that's why I'm leaving it at number 1. Those are my top 11 That Guy with the Glasses misfires, and before you waste me in the comments, these are just my opinions. You're free to have your own and disagree or agree with mine. But if you're still mad at me, I think the next list should help at least somewhat with that. Join me next time for my list of the top 11 greatest That Guy with the Glasses moments.